Here are our questions for the day. They're written on the top, and we will take them in order. Let me get to the book here. 2z over 3 plus 6 equals 3 over 2. Then what is the value of z? 2z over 3 plus 6 equals 3 halves. What is the value of z? You might be wise to use your calculator here to put all these numbers in decimal form. It might make it easier. 2/3 is 0.666 or 0.67z plus 6 equals 1.5. You do that on your calculator to get that. Okay, now we want to get z by itself. So the first thing we do is subtract 6 from both sides. 0.67z equals 1.5 minus 6. Do that on your calculator. You will get negative 4.5. So 0.67z equals negative 4.5. Z equals negative 4.5 divided by 0.67. And if you do that on your calculator, I'll have to pull up my calculator. Calc. I don't care about the negative. 4.5 divided by 0.67 equals, this is going to be approximately 6.72. Okay, 6.72, and it's negative, remember, because it was negative 4.5. Negative 6.72, well, that's got to be A. 4 times 6 is 24, and 7 and 3/4, which is 7.5. So negative 6.72. Let's check the answer here for number 3. I don't know why I was on number 8. The correct answer is A. All right, sometimes that's easier to turn them into decimals. So that is A as an apple. I'll show you how to do it with fractions. 2z over 3 plus 6. 2z over 3 plus 6. I think that's what it is. Equals 3 halves. The other thing you could do is plug the answers in. Plug in A, B, C, D, and see which one works. I won't go through all of that, but you could always do that. All right, let's try this. We're going to subtract 6 from both sides. So those go down to nothing. Now remember, when we add fractions, 3 halves minus 6, it's 3 halves minus 12 halves. 6 is equal to 12 halves. We have to have common denominators. So 3 minus 12, do it on your calculator, it's going to come out to minus 9 halves. So now we have 2z over 3 equals minus 9 halves. And now we're going to multiply both sides by 3 to get rid of the 3. And we're going to divide both sides by 2 to get rid of that 2. So we're multiplying by 3, dividing by 2 equals negative 27/4, which is answer choice A. So again, you could either turn it into decimals, it might make it easier, or do some practice with adding and subtracting and multiplying and dividing fractions. When you add or subtract fractions, you must have a common denominator. So there is number 3. And now I will delete the work. If you need more time to look at it, pause. Oops. Pause. Ugh. Why is this happening? Pause. Okay. Hold on a second. Hold the phone. Why is this happening? There. Okay. For some reason it wasn't writing. All right. Number 9. Let me find number 9. 5z plus 7 equals 12z minus 2. So 5z plus 7 equals 12z minus 2. Again, this is a matter of algebra, getting all the z's to one side and all the numbers to the other side. We will subtract 5z from both sides. So that's gone. And we will add 2 to both sides. So now we get 9 equals 7z. And if we divide both sides by 7, we get 9/7 it's supposed to be a Z there, equals Z. So that is answer choice, I don't know, 9/7, answer choice A. And we'll double check it here on our answers. 9/7, we got it right. Oh, hooray. Now, you can't check it when you're working them, but you can check it right afterwards. You don't get to check it while you're working the test, but that's why we're doing this, to try to learn. Hopefully it's going to write now and not make it small. And it wrote. Number 11. A spring that is stretched X centimeters from its normal, I know it's centimeters, I like to say centimeters, from its normal position stores energy. Thank you. E in joules, according to the equation, equals 2.4x squared. I'm going to write this down. E equals 2.4x squared. Got it. By how many centimeters approximately must the spring be stretched from its normal position for it to store 0.53 joules? All right, so remember, the stretch is X, and E, big E, equals a number of joules that it stores. So all we have to do is put in 0.53 for E, 2.4 times X squared. And then we divide both sides by 2.4. And what is 0.53 divided by 2.4? 0.2208, something like that. And what are our answer choices here? Okay, 0.2208. Now, it's a good idea, and that equals x squared, by the way. And when I write it, I put approximately, because that's not exactly what it equals. Exactly what it equals, it's what's on my calculator here, and even that's approximate, because you can see that 333 goes on forever. So 0.22083333. And it's a good idea to leave it there, because in order to find out what x is, we have to take the square root of both sides. Square root, when you're squaring something, undoes the squaring. It's the inverse. So the square root of x squared is x, and the square root of 0.220833 is 0.4699. So x equals approximately 0.4699. And we'll look at what answer. Well, look at that. B is 0.47, so they rounded it. 0.47. But remember, the inverse operation of squaring is taking the square root. And we'll just double check the answer for 11. And they say 0.47, which is what we found. And remember, that's approximately. And I'm going to have to look back at the question a second here to see if it even says approximately. By how many centimeters? Approximately. See, because it's not an exact answer. All right, the next one is, that was number 11. And hopefully it keeps writing. I don't know why it did that. It had a dilemma. The relationship between temperature in degrees Fahrenheit, F, and units Kelvin is given by this long and destructive formula. Which of the following readings in kelvins is equivalent to a Fahrenheit reading of 77? Well, if we want a Fahrenheit reading of 77 and figure out what kelvins comes out to, we just have to plug in 77 for F. F stands for Fahrenheit. So kelvins equals 5/9. And it says Fahrenheit minus 32. Well, it's 77. That's what the question is asking for. 77 minus 32 plus 273.15. And this is going to be another calculator. 77 minus 32, I believe, is 45. 5/9 of 45. Let's do it on the old calculator. 5 times 45 divided by 9 is 25 plus 273.15. Isn't that something that came out exact? Is 298.15. And I've forgotten what answer choice that is. H. H, as they might say around here, because it's Humble, Texas. So that was number 12. 298.15. We got it right. H. So you just had to plug in F. Sometimes they give you questions where they just want you to plug in values. And that's it. We just plugged it in. Okay. I'm taking a pause here. I might edit this out, but I might not. I want to make sure I'm working on the right questions because all of a sudden I had a thought that I wasn't, but I am. Okay, that was 12, I think, wasn't it? Yes. 12 is done. Number 18. If I'm going too slow, run this in fast forward. Sometimes I run videos in fast forward so I can see all the information inside them very fast. Sometimes I run them in about 5 times speed or 10 times speed if I really want to get everything in there. Sometimes I then have to go back and rewatch it slow if I miss something, but I can get the gist of it in about 5 times speed or 2 times speed. All right, so again, we have to find out what z is. And remember, PEMDAS, that's order of operations, parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division from left to right, addition, subtraction from left to right. What it says is when we have something inside parentheses like this and one of them is a variable, we're going to have to distribute. So this is 15 minus 5z. I multiplied 5 times 3 and 5 times negative z equals 4 minus z, excuse me. And then I have to get everything on one side, all the z's on one side, all the numbers on one side, and I'm going to add 5z to both sides, so I have a positive z. It doesn't really matter, but I like to do it like that, and then we'll subtract 4 from both sides. So we get 11 equals 4z. Now I'll just divide both sides by 4 to get rid of that 4 in front of the z. 11 fourths equals z. So 11 fourths. Let's see if that is an answer choice. What number are we on? Oh, it's not because they've turned it into a mixed number. This is a improper fraction. So 4, we'll just divide 11 by 4. 4 times 2 is 8, and 3 is left over. So 2 and 3 fourths, which is answer K. And let's make sure that was number 18. I always like to check just to make sure because I don't want to make a mistake when we're trying to learn. 2 and 3 fourths. Now, how do you do that on your calculator, 11 fourths? Well, you can do 11 divided by 4, 2.75. Then you subtract the whole number and multiply it by what you originally divided by, and that'll tell you what the remainder was. So 11 fourths is equal to 2. Then we subtracted that 2 and just wrote it down. And see what's left over when we multiply by 4? 3 fourths. Let's do another one just to see it. Someone's sending me messages. Let's say we wanted to know what 12 sevenths equaled. And we wanted to do it on the old calculator. So 12 divided by 7 equals 1.74 blah, blah, blah. So we subtract the whole number, and we multiply that decimal by what we originally divided by, and so it would be 1 and 5 sevenths. See? So we can easily do those on the calculator. Turn a whole number or a mixed number into an improper fraction, or in this case, an improper fraction into a mixed number very easily. I'll do one more just so you get it. Let's say we had 14 ninths equals what? All right, so I'm going to do 14 divided by 9, and I get 1.55 blah, blah, blah. So I write the 1 down, and then I subtract that 1 on the old calculator, and it's 0.55, and then I multiply it by what I divided by originally 9, and it tells me there were 5 left over, so that's 1 and 5 ninths. 14 ninths equals 1 and 5 ninths. And again, you could always do it as decimals all the way through, and then if the answer choices are in fraction format, turn the fractions into decimals to see which one was correct. All right, the next one we have is 21. I just wanted to verify it. I can never trust my lying eyes. 3y equals negative 9 equals negative 9 times 8 minus y. All right, so the first thing we have to do is distribute this 9 to both things in the parentheses. So negative 9 times 8, negative 72. Negative 9 times negative y plus 9y. And now I've got 3y equals that stuff. So I'll subtract 9y from both sides, and you'll see it doesn't matter if I make it negative at first. So 3y minus 9y, if you do it on your calculator, you'll get negative 6y equals negative 72. And then y equals, we're going to divide both sides by negative 6. Negative 72 divided by negative 6. The negative divided by negative is a positive. So what is that? 12. Y equals 12. So that is answer E. E is in Edward for 21. And then we will, as always, check it just to make certain. 21 is E. All right, we got it. It's a lot of questions here that have to do with distributing. And whenever you're dealing with an equation like that, first you do addition and subtraction. If you have something like this, 3 plus 2x equals, let me see, what do I want to have here? 9. I just want it to come out even. So whenever you have something like that, the first thing you do is subtract. You get rid of all the stuff that's added to the x term. So I want to subtract the 3. That's first. So 2x equals 6. And then once I have just something multiplied by x, or something that x is divided by, I can multiply or divide. In this case, I want to divide. So x equals 3. That's it. So add or subtract the terms first that are added or subtracted from the x term. So you can get x all by itself, even if it has a number in front of it. And then multiply and divide. If you're multiplying x by something, divide by that to get rid of that number. Like in this case, we divided by 2. If you're dividing x by something, if we ended up with x plus 3, or x over 3 equals 9, well, then you multiply on both sides to get rid of it. X equals 27. So first get the x term by itself, and then multiply or divide to get rid of the number in front of x, or whatever variable it is. See, this is my problem. I forget whether I'm erasing or writing. Okay, we have got it. And that was 21, I believe. I'll double check in a second because I forget. All right, the next one is 27. 27. Which of the following expressions is equivalent to the one given below? All right, so this one is we're getting into some division with variables. Z plus 2 minus 4 divided by 18 minus 4 times Z plus 2. Okay, these are called irrational functions. So first we want to distribute. 5 times Z is 5Z. 5 times 2 is 10 minus 4. And then we can add those two numbers. 10 minus 4 is 6. So we have 5Z plus 6. And on the bottom, we get 18 minus negative 4 times Z is negative 4Z. Negative 4 times 2 is negative 8. And now we can combine. 18 minus 8 is 10. So we get 10 minus 4Z on the bottom. So we get 5Z plus 6 equals divided by 10 minus 4Z. Now, the only way that I can divide any of these numbers is if I can divide both numbers by the same thing, and I can't because 5 isn't even. I can't divide it by 2 to simplify. So we get 5Z plus 6 over 10 minus 4Z, and 5Z plus 6 over 10 minus 4Z is B, and let's make sure that's the right answer for 27. 3 to 4 to 5 to 6. 27. 5Z plus 6 over 10 minus 4Z. So remember, distribute, then combine like terms. And then if, let's say I had, let's say this came out to 6Z plus 6 over 10 minus 4z. It didn't, but let's pretend it did. Well, now I can divide all the terms by 2. So I'm dividing everything by 2. That would be a 3. That would become 3. That would become 3. And that would become 2. So I'd get 3z plus 6 over 3 minus 2z. And I could do that on the top. Even if I couldn't do it on the bottom, if I could do that on the top, I would simplify it. And I would put that 2 outside of it. So sometimes you have to do that. You factor out a number. Okay? So that is number 27. Again, if this is too slow, taking too much time, do it in chunks, or fast forward the video. Frank talks too slow. I can go fast, but I don't like to go fast when I'm trying to explain. So that was 27, I think. Now we have 36. I couldn't tell if that was 38 or 36, but I believe it's 36. So 31, 32, 33, 34. Which of the following is the equation 7a minus b equals 4 solved for b? All right, so this is called in terms of. When we say solved for b, we want b equals a bunch of stuff. So this is 7 times a minus b equals 4. So the first thing we have to do is distribute the 7. 7a minus 7b equals 4. Now remember what I said before. You want to try to isolate the b term, get it all by itself. So anything that's not the b term on its side of the equation, we want to subtract or add. Well, 7a is added to negative 7b, so we want to subtract 7a from both sides. So now we have negative 7b equals 4 minus 7a. And then we divide both sides by negative 7. So we get b equals negative 4 minus 7a over negative 7. Now the question is, how have they formatted the answer? And they have b equals, now see, they distributed this 7. When I say negative 4 minus 7a over 7, I can have negative 4 sevenths minus negative 7a over 7. So I get, there's our negative 4 sevenths, and then negative 7a over 7 becomes negative 1, and negative 1 is positive 1. Negative 4 sevenths plus a. So you can always do that. If I have a plus b over 2, I could put a over 2 plus b over 2. I can separate them like that. And sometimes they do that. Well, that's what they did here. They separated it. Now, you could have seen which one it was by just, well, let's do it. I'm going to actually do it. Substitute a number in for a and see what it comes out to in your answer, and then pick the one that would match it in the answer choices. Sometimes when you do that, you may find more than one answer choice works, and then you're going to have to eliminate the ones that don't work and then come up with another number. So we get, I'm just going to show you in case you didn't know how to separate this thing. Negative 4 minus 7a over 7. And let's say a equals 1. So I get negative 4 minus 1 over 7, negative 3 sevenths. And let's just plug that in. We said a equals 1. What did I do? I said, oh, hold on. See, there's a mistake. I confused myself, so I'm going to get rid of this. And I've deleted that, so I have to rewrite this. 58. Whoops. 58 and 59. All right, b equals negative 4 minus 7a. Let's say a equals 1. Negative 4 minus 7 over 7 equals negative 3 sevenths equals 3 sevenths. And the correct answer was H, I believe I said. So 1 minus 4 sevenths, 1 minus 4 sevenths, because remember I said a equals 1. So 1, we can rewrite as 7 sevenths. Remember, we have to have common denominators. And 7 minus 4 is 3/7. So notice that answer choice matches what I had, even though the format of my original answer was different. If I didn't know how to separate it into 4/7, -4/7 plus a, if I didn't realize how to do that, I could have just plugged some number in and then matched it. Now, who knows? If I plug in one of the other answer choices might also equal 3/7. So you have to check each one. And if that happens, eliminate the ones that didn't work and then come up with another number, because only one of them will work with every number you can come up with. I'd expect on this one, more than likely, with a equals 1, only one of the answer choices would work. But just in case it doesn't, you got to be careful. Whenever you come up with your own number, you got to check it against every answer choice. Okay, that was 36. Whoops. Oh, and did I did I verify the answer? I did not. Who knows? Maybe Frank made a mistake. 36, a minus 4/7. A minus 4/7. Yeah, that was H. Okay, so I got it right. Hooray! All right, number 44. What is the value of the expression h squared times 5 minus h when h is -4? So this is just like that earlier one. We just have to remember with the Fahrenheit times, that little dot means times 5 minus h. If you don't know that, write it on your supplemental when h is -4. Just like I did with that Fahrenheit question. I just plug in -4 for h. So -4 squared times 5 minus -4. You got to be careful with all your signs here. So what is 5 minus -4? Well, that's 5 plus 4. Negative times negative is positive. So it's -4. Whoops. This is where you have to be careful. Remember, the -4, the value of h is -4, so that goes inside the parentheses, and then we square it. 5 minus -4 is 9. So what is -4 squared? Write it on your calculator. That's 16 times 9. And what's 16 times 9? 144, which is answer K. K as in cat, if you spell it with a K. If you spell cat with a C, then it would have to be K as in kitten. But a kitten will grow up to be a cat anyway, and so we're good. All right, K, let's see. K, 144. Yes, it was. Okay, so all you have to do sometimes is just plug in some value for the variable. And very important, and I'm going to repeat it, if they say h equals -2 and you've got h squared, you've got to write -2 squared. In other words, you square the -2, because if you write -2 squared, you might square the 2 and then apply the minus to it. 2 times 2 is 4, minus 4. It's not minus 4. It's -2, the whole thing, squared. And any negative squared is always going to be a positive. So you can easily mess up your sign if you don't use those parentheses, especially if you're doing it on your calculator. Okay, that one is good. And now, next is, and when I went, I spit on my screen and I don't like that, so I had to get rid of it. All right, that was 44, and now 48. Given that x minus y equals 4, what is the value of all of this jazz? All right, so there's a lot of different ways to do this. Let's see if we can think of a good one. 2x minus 2y minus y minus x over 2 plus y minus x squared. Okay, and they say, given that x minus y equal 4. All right, well, what you can do here, and this is probably a pretty advanced question, but what you can do is try to get everything to be x minus y. So notice this is 2x minus 2y. If we take a 2 out of that, we can write 2 times x minus y, because 2 times x minus y is 2x times 2y. So why did we do that? We did that because now we can rewrite that as 2 times 4. because x minus y, according to what they told us, in fact, I'm going to write it here, x minus y equals 4. All right, so now that's what we have to do, is try to get these other ones. So now it's minus. Well, we have y minus x, and x minus y equals 4. Well, what is y minus x? There's two ways we could do it. Let's look at the original equation. And if we add y to both sides, subtract x from both sides, and subtract 4 from both sides, we get negative 4 equals, I'm subtracting x from both sides, I'm adding y to both sides, y minus x equals negative 4. So I can just write negative 4 up there. Negative 4 over 2, and in here we can write negative 4. Well, negative 4 halves. Negative 4 halves is negative 2. Negative 2 is plus 2. And then plus negative 4 squared is 16. So 2 times 4 is 8, plus 2 is 10, plus 16 is 26. And that is answer K. 48 is answer K, 26. Now I want to do this again just so you saw what I did. Excuse me. Boy, excuse me. Okay. How did I know that y minus x is negative 4? I'm going to do it again, and I'm going to do it in steps just so you can see. They said y minus x equals 4. So what I did is I added x to both sides. Oh, wait a minute. I don't think that's what I did. Let's see. Maybe I got it wrong. X minus y equals 4 is what they told us. X minus y equals 4. So I subtracted x from both sides. Those go away. I added y to both sides. Those go away. And I subtracted 4 from both sides. Those go away. So now I got negative 4 equals negative x plus y, or y minus x. So I could always turn it around like that. Sometimes you have to recognize when you just have to do a little manipulation to get a little different pattern from what you have. Okay, that's number 48. I think the next one is 52. I'm triple checking. For all values of a and b, 4ab times a squared minus 2ab squared will always be equal to which of the following? So it's 4ab times a squared minus 2ab squared will always be which of the following? Well, we have to distribute 4ab times a squared. Whenever we multiply the same base, the same letter, a like that, and we have different exponents, when we write just a alone, it's really a to the first power, and b alone is just b to the first power. When we multiply a to some power by a to some other power, we just add the exponents. So a to the first power times a to the second power is a to the third power. So this is going to be 4 a to the third power b, because there are no numbers or b's in there. So that's, we multiplied it by the first term, now we multiply it by the second term. Negative 2 times 4, negative 8. A to the first times a to the first is a to the second. We just add the exponents. B to the first times b to the second is b to the third. Now we have to look again because they may have simplified it, but they didn't. 4a cubed b minus 8a squared b to the third. Did I do something wrong? 2ab squared. So 4a cubed b minus 8a squared b to the third. Four a cubed b, I got that, minus 8. Oh, there's another answer. Oh, but that's 8a cubed. Okay, 4a cubed b minus... Oh, yes, I did. Here's a to the first. No, I didn't. A squared. What do they say the answer is? Okay, we'll have to think about this because somewhere we made a mistake. They say F. Ah, typo, typo. Whoop, whoop. F should be 4a cubed b minus 8a squared b cubed. So they have a typo here. And let me fix it. this should be 4a cubed b minus 8a squared b cubed. Okay, they just had a typo, so this isn't really what f is. F is actually that. And then let me save it. Let me make sure I've saved the right copy here. Well, I'll have to make sure later that I save the right copy. Let's see where it tries to save this. Sorry, you have to watch all this. Well, that's right. That's where I want to save it. Yes, please. Okay, I just wanted to save it because they have a typo there, and I knew it was a typo because the answer for 52 is different than what they had written. So again, we just wanted to distribute and make sure that when we multiply, if I multiply x times x squared, x is really x to the first, we add the exponents. If I divide x cubed by x squared, we subtract the exponents. That would be x to the first. And if we raise a power to a power, we multiply the exponents. So make sure you write those on your supplemental sheet and read that every day. It's also on the printed or written cheat sheet. Okay, and we even had a dilemma there because they had the wrong answer. And as I was looking at it, I saw there was no correct answer. Well, that's because they had a typo. I've been working on a whole test where some guy in India, I think India or Pakistan or something, compiled a test for students, and everything is wrong. So I'm trying to correct the whole thing. We have h squared plus 3h equals 88. H squared plus 3h equals 88. And then it says, which of the following is a solution? Oh, I didn't see that part at first. So we want to find out what h equals. Well, remember, you could always, you could always graph that on your calculator and find out when the function is equal to 0. So whenever the function is equal to 0, I don't know that that's what it looks. Well, this is h squared. That would be negative h squared. So this one looks something like this. Somehow it looks like that. It's a parabola. But we can solve it by hand too. We can do h squared plus 3h minus 88 equals 0. So this you can just type into your calculator and it'll show you the values. And if you can't tell on the graph, then just look at the table of values and you can see where it's equal to 0. Okay, but let's try to figure this out. We have to find factors of negative 88 that equal 3. Well, I can think of 8 times 11 is 88, and equal positive 3 rather, and one of them has to be negative, and I'm going to say it's the 8 that's negative, because 11 times negative 8 is negative 88, and 11 minus 8 is 3. So then it's h minus 8 and h plus 11 are the factors of this. And then you set each one equal to 0. H minus 8 equals 0. H equals 8. In other words, you flip the sign. H plus 11 equals 0. H equals negative 11. So our answers are 8 and negative 11. And they have A. They don't have 8, but they do have negative 11. So 57 is A. There's always, or generally, two answers, two solutions to something like that. So there's a whole chapter in the SAT and ACT Math Guide about quadratics, if you want to look that up. Okay, we're almost to the end. That's 57. Zip, zap. Okay, 58. Jeremy and Andrew collect baseball cards of their favorite professional players. Hold on a second. All of a sudden, I had the impression I wasn't recording. They collect these baseball cards. Jeremy collects X playing cards per month, and Andrew collects Y. Jeremy has 150 cards, and Andrew has 190. If Jeremy's collection will have as many baseball cards as Andrew's in 5 months, what is X minus Y? Okay, so let's take a look at Jeremy. Jeremy right now has 150 cards, so we're going to write this down, 150 plus, and then it says Jeremy collects X playing cards per month. So we're going to do X times the months, and they said 5 months. So we're going to do 5X. 5 is the number of months. X is the number of cards he adds per month. Jeremy equals. So these are two linear equations. Hold on. There's a bug landing on my screen. These are two linear equations, but they're a little bit backwards of what we expect because X is the playing cards per month. Well, I guess it's not backwards, really. We collect 5 cards per X, X cards per month in 5 months. Okay, 150 plus 5X. And then it says Andrew has 190. And Andrew collects plus Y cards, I think it said. Andrew collects Y cards per month. And there's 5 months again, so 5Y. And then it says, what is X minus Y? Well, we want to get the X's and Y's on one side. So if I subtract 5Y's from both sides, we're going to get 5X minus 5Y. And then I subtract 150 from both sides, equals 190 minus 150 equals 40. And now on this 5x and 5y, I can factor a 5 out. 5 times x minus y. I just divided both by 5, and I put the 5 outside the parentheses, and I made the parentheses. Because remember, it's 5x, 5y. So there it is, equals 40. And now since I'm solving for x minus y, I just divide both sides by 5. So x minus y equals 40 over 5. 40 divided by 5, you can do it on your calculator, equals 8. And that should be answer K. Well, it seems like there's a lot of K's around here, but that's it. All right, there's 58. And we have one more to do. It's very hard to figure out what you could plug in for x minus y and then come up with a plugging in strategy on those. So sometimes you just have to work the algebraic manipulation. 59. Which of the following is the solution to y squared equals 16y? Y squared equals 16y. Well, trying to think here of a way that we could do this. Y squared equals 16y. I'm going to do it this way. If we subtract 16y from both sides, it equals 0. Now we can divide a y from each one of those terms. Y times y minus 16. So all I did is divide it by y squared by y, comes out to y. Negative 16y divided by y is negative 16 equals 0. So then we get y equals 0, this equals 0, and y minus 16 equals 0, so y equals 16. So our solutions are either 0 or 16. Again, you could have just graphed it on your calculator and come up with these answers, but the answer is B. And let's make sure for 59, yes, B, 16. The other way you could have done it, and you'd only get one of the solutions, but luckily in this case, you would have gotten the right one. This is usually not the right way to do it. You can just do the division by y right here. So I'm dividing by y, I'm dividing by y, which is really y to the first. So those y's go away. Remember, when we divide, we subtract the exponents when it's the same base, in this case y. So y2 minus 1 is y1 equals y to the first power equals 16. So we would have gotten the answer that they asked for, but when we do it the other way, we also find out that one of the solutions is 0. And we need to get both solutions. So that's why we normally want to do it this way. We normally do it by doing y squared minus 16y equals 0, factoring out the y, and then y equals 0, and y minus 16 equals 0, so y is 16. That way we'd get both answers. But in this case, just dividing by y, even though we lose an answer, would have gotten us the correct answer, which again was B, 59B. And I just verified it again, just in case. All right, that's all of them that you had questions on. You might have to watch it again. Try to get as much as you can out of this, and then you're going to work that practice test and see where you are. Take it easy.